सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Vedanta treatise, renunciation, lesson, renunciation. The topic, renunciation is bliss.
Renunciation is bliss. Renunciation is bliss. There can be no peace, no happiness unless you renounce your little self, give up your self-asserting ego, drop the idea of I and my, me and mine. E. Carpenter, an Englishman of great spiritual experience, says, "Never before could I have believed it, but I see it all now. There is no happiness unless you have clean dropped thinking about yourself. But you must not do it by halves and halves. While even there is a least grain of self left, it will spoil it all. You must just leave it all behind and vouchsafe the personality and mind that much sympathy as to any stranger, no more, no less. Hence must you banish all attachment and anxiety. Brush aside fear of censure and hope of appreciation. Consider yourself as you would a stranger. Cast aside your cherished personal ego and pass disembodied out of yourself. Pass through the gate of indifference, through the door of knowledge into the palace of peace and bliss. The Isavasya Upanishad proclaimed that this truth. May you enjoy bliss through renunciation. Boha in Sanskrit means enjoyment, and yoga means renunciation. People construe these two words as antonyms. Consider boga to be opposed to yoga, but that is not so. If you study them carefully, you will conclude that they are not different. Boga, enjoyment, is nothing other than yoga, renunciation. It may sound revolutionary, but it is the truth. There can be no real enjoyment unless you are poised in the mental state of renunciation. No sooner you renounce the arrogating ego than you become the personification of joy, happiness, bliss. You turn spiritual. The path to supreme self, the way to the bliss of self-realization is crucifixion of the little self. Attachment is the prime cause of mental agitation and sorrow. When you are attached to material objects, to wealth, you are riddled with worry and anxiety. Anxiety to procure more and more, and worry about preserving or losing it. Thus, a newly fixed carpet in your house, a china you value, or any such prized possession can cause mental agitation, suffering, and sorrow if you are attached to it. Similarly, a boy attached to a girl, a mother attached to a child would cause the mind to be disturbed. When you are driving your personal expensive car on a rough and rugged road, your heart throbs. Whereas the same ride in the hired car becomes enjoyable. Thus, when you are detached, you enjoy the world. That explains why you enjoy a tragic movie, a horror movie. A Shakespeare's play, Hamlet, was filmed with the famous actor Sir Laurence Olivier. It depicted a great tragedy. Every bit of it was very sad, melancholic, yet magnificent. It drew millions of admirers. They enjoyed the movie thoroughly. Many saw it over and over again. There was a charm about it that kept everybody spellbound. Notwithstanding all that, would anyone desire to be the Prince of Hamlet in the movie? Would anyone like to be involved in those tragic circumstances? Everyone may enjoy the movie, but none would like to get anywhere near those scenes, much less get mixed up with them. If that be so, what makes it so attractive, so enjoyable? How does a sad movie make millions happy? On a careful study, you find that enjoyment arises from one's aloofness from the happenings on the screen. It is one's detachment from it, not being involved or entangled in it. When you look upon a movie as a witness, you enjoy it. When you get directly involved in it, you suffer. Some even sob. So it is with the world. Keep your mind anchored to the divine self within and look at the world as you would see the movie. You must learn to live in your home with your family, run your office with your associates, meet the world impersonally as a sakshi, witness, without getting attached to them, entangled with their affairs. When you look at the phenomenal world, thus from an impersonal angle as a sakshi, view it objectively, it lends a charm. It is beautiful, wonderful. You enjoy every bit of it. But if you view it personally, lose your objectivity and get involved, entangled in it, you suffer. Your life turns miserable. It's a universal law. Almost every human being suffers from the nagging weaknesses of attachment, weakness of attachment. To rise above it, you need to strengthen your intellect with spiritual knowledge, a knowledge which exposes the absurdity of your personalized relation with the world, your immaturity. You begin to understand the futility of such relation. With the knowledge seeping in, you gradually develop a sense of detachment towards the world. The dawn of detachment drives away the mist of worry and anxiety, leaving you in peace and bliss. Two childhood friends happened to meet after a long lapse of time. One of them was a successful businessman, the other was a spiritual mendicant, a sannyasi. Engrossed in the conversation, they lost track of time and reached the bank of a river late in the evening. They had to cross over to the other side. The boatman refused to ferry them across as it was past his working hours. Their side of river was infested with the wild animals. The businessman offered the boatman a chunk of money. The latter yielded. They were ferried across to the safer side where the businessman's mansion lay. That night, after entertaining his guests with supper, the businessman inquired, "Tell me, friend, of what use is your stand of renunciation? If I had not possessed the money, both of us would have been devoured by the wolves. As not your way of life proved to be impractical." The sannyasi replied with these wise words, "Dear friend, undoubtedly your money has helped us today, but was it its possession or dispossession that really saved us? The problem with the renunciation is that it has a detestable friend. People find it hard to accept the concept of detachment. The very thought of it sends a shiver down the spine. The idea of detachment stings you. Little do you realize that sting of renunciation transports you to a higher plan, to permanent peace and bliss. It relieves you from all worries and anxiety associated with the world. The initial feel of renunciation acts like a vast sting in a dream. The dreamer's pain is momentary, for it wakes him up. He is freed from all trouble, worry, and anxiety pertaining to the dream world. Practicing detachment, therefore, may be initially painful, but it's all gainful. It ushers you to a greater planes of happiness, leading you to bliss of supreme self.
The law of happiness. is renunciation, the law of peace and happiness. The law means this: there is no peace, happiness possible to a human being until he reaches the state of renunciation or he is practicing renunciation. Isavasya Upanishad says, Tena tyaktena bhunjitam. May you enjoy bliss through renunciation. Throughout, you find the human being's effort is to keep the ego and possessiveness alive and still wants happiness. Everywhere, even the person who has been listening to this also tries the same thing. They wants to keep the ego alive. They wants to see their possessiveness and attachment alive and still want peace and happiness. A person can't let go the possessiveness and attachment. For a person who is able to let go of the possessiveness, for a person who is to let go of the ego, the attachment is a peaceful, blissful person. And renunciation is painful. And because of this pain, nobody wants to practice. Nobody wants to practice renunciation because renunciation is painful. What is the pain? The pain of attachment. You can hear this a million times and the person will go from one attachment to they will drop one object of attachment. Even before they drop one object of attachment, they pick up another one. And you see this day in and day out in everybody, and you just can't do anything about it. You can only just keep watching it. They get attached to one thing, go through pain, they lose it. As soon as they lose it, even before they let go of one, they pick up another one. This is called attachment. Attachment, possessiveness brings a false security, safety, peace, security, happiness, safety, comfort. You can use any word, doesn't matter. Any word you can use. All boils down to the fact that you are not peaceful, you feel insecure, you feel unsafe, you feel disturbed, and yet you will continue to get attached. And yet the human being will not drop, attachment. They continue to get attached, they continue to remain in their attachment and not leave their object of attachment. And they come and ask, how to feel, I just want to be peaceful, sir. First they ask, are you peaceful, sir? I said, come and live with me, then you will know whether I am peaceful or not. I really don't know. You should ask the people living with me whether I am peaceful or not. Yeah, one, are you peaceful, sir? No. Looking at you, look like you are very peaceful and happy. I want to be like you. I said, why do you want to be like? Want that peace, want that sense of security, the sense of strength. All this comes, take it or leave it. That's the law, he says. You take it or leave it. You agree, you don't agree, you accept, you don't accept, doesn't matter. The law doesn't change. What? Peace, security, safety, happiness, all comes only through this one quality called renunciation. And Carpenter says, the famous English mystic, E. Carpenter says, never before could I have believed it all, but I see it now clearly. There is no happiness unless you have clean dropped thinking about yourself. There is no happiness unless you have clean dropped thinking about yourself. But you must not do it by halves, quarters. While even there is the least grain of self left, it will spoil it all. Least grain of self means even if there is a little bit of ego that is left behind, that will spoil it all. How does one practice it then? You must leave it all behind. Leave it all means leave the ego behind and vouchsafe the personality and mind that much sympathy as to any stranger, no more, no less. What is the value that you give to a stranger? What is the sympathy that you give to a stranger? You are concerned. You are concerned. You are willing to do, but you are not. You are concerned. You are sympathetic. You are willing to help, but you are not affected. You have to treat your ego like how you treat the stranger. A Carpenter says that is the way to practice renunciation. Relate with your ego as you would relate to any stranger. But we don't do that. What do? We have such an intimacy with our ego, such an intimacy with our attachments, possessiveness, and expect the whole world to dance according to, and the whole world must dance according to one's attachment and possessiveness. Cast aside your cherished personal ego. You cherish it so much. You nourish it so much. You feel as though you are the center of the world. You know? See, even the few that is sitting here, everyone sitting here believes that they are the center of the planet. And everything happens. Everything is circling around them only. Either for you or against you. And how do you feel? Either the world is ganged up for you or the world is against you. In the totality, it doesn't make any difference at all. Your existence makes no difference. Your non-existence also makes absolutely no difference. And yet, you believe that you are the center of the planet. Why everybody is against me, sir? I said everybody wants a neighbor, the fellow in Argentina, the fellow in Japan. Why everybody is against me, sir? The boy said, nobody loves me, sir. The boy said, few months back, the boy said, nobody loves me, sir. I said, what nonsense? Why are you lying to me? I said, it is a lie, I said. Why are you calling it as lie? I love you, no, I said. I love you. What is your problem? Saying nobody loves me. What he means is that one particular person that he wants love is not loving. That's all. This is called, what is this called? This is called possessiveness, attachment, ego. A person who's living life like this cannot find. You put them in the best of environments, put them in the best of environments, best of comforts, everything going their way, and still the human being remains so agitated. And it is so sad to see people going through this pain, these agitations, this suffering. It is really painful to see human beings go through this pain and suffering. And you give them the solution, nobody. They want to get out of the disease. They want freedom from the disease minus the medication. Sir, the medication that you are prescribing is not acceptable. The law says you take it or leave it, accept it, reject it. The law doesn't change. What is the law? You want peace, security, happiness, safety, blah, 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 any word. And nowadays, people come up with the vocabulary of people, I tell you. They come up with their own vocabulary, and it's so funny. And when they are suffering and saying you can't even laugh, they are really suffering. They are really suffering. They are really crying. They are really so much in pain and sad. And it's so hilarious to look at, but you can't even laugh. Because I also have to put up a very serious face as though I'm also really. It is painful to see human beings go through this suffering. Why do they go through that? The way in which they associate everything with themselves. Everything is associated with themselves, as though the whole world is looking at. The whole world is looking at them. The whole world is concerned about. Whole world is concerned about them. Renunciation is bliss. If you want peace, you get it through renunciation. If you want bliss, you get it through renunciation. You want security, you get it through renunciation. You want to feel a sense of safety, you get it through renunciation. And this renunciation is painful in the beginning. It stings. It stings. And people can't take the pain. People can't take the pain. A person who cannot take the pain. But how much pain to take, sir? Life is only full of pain. How much pain do I take? Childhood is painful. Youthhood is painful. Adolescence is painful. University is painful. Go to work, painful. Get married. Don't talk about that, sir. The biggest mistake of life is to get married. After children, that's all. You are already in the grave after that. Nothing much can be. After children comes, you are in the grave already. That's it. It's over. After that, lifetime circles around. The whole life is circling around. That only. And by that time, they say, oh my God, where is happiness in all this? Vedanta says, human being alone has this possibility of gaining this knowledge and go through all this blissfully, all this cheerfully, all this joyfully. Only a human being has this potential, the possibility. And the possibility comes through knowledge. What is knowledge? Vedanta. Another word for Vedanta is Another word for Vedanta is renunciation. It comes only through renunciation. And what is renunciation? We have seen that already. I'm not defining. I'm not going into that analysis. What is renunciation? Deal with yourself as how you would deal with the stranger. How you deal with the stranger? You sympathize. You are concerned. You sympathize, but you are not affected. The practice of renunciation comes, that is what is known as objectivity. Playing the role is what sannyas is all about, renunciation is all about. In English, it's called role, actor on the stage. In English, it's called actor on the stage. Tamil adukku enna peru? Actor. What would you call that in our language? தெளிவா புரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னா சும்மா டைப் பண்ணுங்க. எல்லாரும் மியூட், யாருக்கும் அன்மியூட்டே கிடையாது. You have decided that nobody will be unmuted. இல்லையா? So டைப் தான் பண்ணி ஆகணும். நான் அது டைப் பண்ணா I can't even read it. I don't know where it is. Simply type. Actor. What would you call actor in the language? நடிக்கிறது. கரெக்ட்பா. Acting. இல்லையா? Any other word? நாடக நடிகர் யார் அது? சுஜாதா. ஓ, சுஜாதா. What is renunciation? Play the role, but your personality is not identified with it. Vesham போடுறது. Correct. It's the Vesha. It's the Vesha. That's all. But sir, it has to be genuine, no sir? How can we put Vesham? We have to be you have to be sincere. You have to be genuine. I am a very sincere person, sir. I can't put this Vesham under. You put Vesham, I know. Yeah. You put a lot of Vesham, but I don't. I am a very I am a very straightforward, sincere person. Sincere, straightforward person. Wanting to commit suicide and die. What is the problem? Wanting to commit suicide. One small thing doesn't go. One small thing doesn't go in the way. One person doesn't listen. One person doesn't listen. The whole life is. All the blessings of life is upset by all your. I have seen it in any number of persons. Before the class, after the class, even today, day before, anybody I keep meeting. The blessings of life, they have so much of blessings they have, and they talk about their suffering, all because just one thing is not going. One thing not going in their way. That is enough to make them forget, make them ignorant, make them unaware, lose the entire focus on all the blessings of life. What is renunciation? Some will go in your way, some will not go in your way, some events are acceptable, some events are not acceptable, some are tolerable, some are not tolerable. It doesn't make any difference. The person remains unaffected. That person is called practicing renunciation. Opposite of renunciation is attachment. What is attachment? Simply means, what is attachment? Simply means, attachment simply means the other must dance according to your tunes. If you say, I love you, the other person must say, yes, I love you. If you say, no, I don't love you anymore, the other person must say, thank you and go away. Attachment is making the other a machine, a toy for your happiness. When selfishness goes disproportionately high, very high selfishness, extremely selfish, is this attitude of attachment. What is detachment? What is detachment? Your peace, your security, your happiness, your safety doesn't come from anything, is not dependent on anything from outside. ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किंच जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिताम्. ईशावास्योपनिषत् मंत्र 1. तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जितां मागृध कस्य स्विद्धनम्. तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिताम्. Attachment. There is, I'm sure every one of you will be knowing this by now. I don't know how many have read that, but at least I'm sure some of you are. I assume everybody knows the book, The Holocaust of Attachment. It is an Holocaust. What is Holocaust? Mass death. Everybody is a victim of this disease. And people are so worried about the pandemic. No, masks everywhere. The whole world is trying to make vaccines, and we are all waiting for the vaccine. And once the vaccine comes, problem is solved, and no problem gets solved. No problem gets solved. Attachment is your mental state is decided by the other. That is attachment. Attachment means your mental state is decided by the other. The other could be anybody. The other could be the spouse, the boss, your own children, your own health. It could be anything. The policy, the politics, the government, anything. But something decides your mental state. And Ramatirtha writes so beautifully. He says, the street dog decides your mental state, he says. You don't decide. As though they are pulling the strings. As though somebody is there behind you pulling the strings, and you are so helplessly dancing according to the way the string is pulled. This is called attachment. This is attachment. What is attachment? The way in which you believe that the string is pulled from behind, and you feel utterly helpless about it. And you feel utterly helpless about it, and they ask, what to do, sir? What to do, sir? What to do, sir? What to do? Get detached. Do not drop the object. Do not drop the person. You get detached. It is not about dropping the other. It is not about leaving the other. It is not about running away from the other. And the solution that everybody finds is what? Leave the other, drop the other. When you leave the other, when you drop the other, the problem is solved. No problem gets solved in that manner. Why? Because the disease is in you. The disease is in you. What is the disease? The disease of attachment. The nature of the mind is to get attached. Anybody pleases you, anybody caters to you, your mind will get. What is attachment? How does attachment work? Somebody pleases you, somebody caters to you, somebody fulfills your demands, somebody fulfills your, whoever does it or whoever you believe is doing that, the mind develops a mind develops a bondage with them. That mental bondage is called attachment. And what is detachment? A relationship with everybody minus the bondage. Now, what is relationship? What is detachment? Detachment is relationship minus the bondage. Sukabrahma Rishi, son of Vyasa, wanted to know what sannyas is. He wanted to know what sannyas is. And he went and asked his father, the great Vyasa, what is teach me sannyas? And Vyasa said, go to Janaka, he can teach you, he will teach you sannyas. For he knows what sannyas is better than me. And Sukabrahma Rishi thought, who can be on this planet, who can be wiser than the father, Vyasa? But then the father said, so he went to Janaka. Looking at Janaka in the palace, enjoying everything, in the midst of everything, enjoying everything, Sukabrahma Rishi thought, Janaka doesn't know what renunciation is. So, fourth day, he left the palace. Janaka said, you came for something? No. Why are you leaving without asking what you came for? Sukha said, no, it's okay. I'm leaving. He left. As he went to the gate, he remembered, if I go back without asking this man, father will send me back again to him only. So why come back all the way? Might as well ask him. So he came back and Janaka asked, why are you back? He said, I asked this question to my father, what is sannyas? And he told me that you know what sannyas is. I came to know from you what sannyas is. After looking at you, the way in which you are indulging in the palace, the way in which you are enjoying everything, I know that you have no idea about what renunciation is. What do I tell my father? What do I, because if I go back, father will ask, did you ask this question? What did Janaka say? Janaka said, tell your father that a fool like you cannot be taught. Go and tell your father that a fool like you cannot be taught. And when Janaka called him a fool, he prostrated immediately to Janaka and said, looks like you know what it is. Teach me. Teach me. He said, okay, I will teach you. Before that, sit on my seat. Yeah. We have one day chief minister, no? One day chief minister, one day prime minister. Huh? Janaka started all that. Huh? Janaka told Sukha, sit on my seat. Go and sit. Later on we will talk. Later on we will talk. Sukha went and sat on the throne. He went and sat on the throne 20th second, he jumped out of the throne, screaming, telling Janaka that you are a mad person to make me sit on the you are a mad person to make me sit on the throne. Why did you do that? Janaka asked, what happened? Why did you jump out? He sat on the throne and he was just enjoying the thing. As he enjoyed, he wanted to look up, no? He looked up. And when he looked up, he saw a sword hanging. A sword hanging on a silk thread. Any time the thread will snap and the sword will go where? Yeah. Kabala Moksha, because it will pierce through the skull and straight it will go inside. And then suddenly Sukha realized, oh my God, sitting on this throne, you are enjoying all this. Sword hanging above your head, you are enjoying all this. Janaka said, Sukha, I have taken care of the sword above my head. There is a sword, invisible sword hanging over your head. You don't see it. There is an invisible sword hanging over your head. You don't see it. Yeah. Shankar. Adukosam don't start looking and say tomorrow morning, I saw my sword, sir. Na hallucination. Yeah. I saw my sword, sir. What do I do now? Na hallucination that is. What is yeah. It doesn't work that way. He saw the sword. What is it? That's what the two words that he uses here. Bhoga and yoga. Why I gave the story is to explain the two words, bhoga and yoga. Bhoga means enjoyment, yoga means renunciation. And people believe how a person of renunciation can have any enjoyment in life. Antonyms. They see both as opposite to each other. Vedanta comes up with a law. Vedanta comes up with the truth of life. Bhoga comes through yoga. Bhoga is not opposite of yoga. Bhoga comes through yoga. So the yoga comes first, bhoga comes later. What is yoga means? Renouncing the arrogating ego. What is yoga? Yoga is nothing but renouncing the arrogating ego. And the ego arrogates. How does the ego arrogates everything? The arrogation of the ego happens by attachment. The arrogation of ego happens by attachment. When you are attached to objects, you are riddled with worry and anxiety. Anxiety to procure more, worry about preserving it. Anxiety to procure more, worry about preserving it. And what people call as love, I tell you, people, I have told this to many and they all have gotten angry with me and quite a few have stopped talking to me also, but the truth has to be known. There is no love. Oh, you don't know, sir. There's no love. It is just petty attachment. It's called puppy's love. Do you know what is puppy's love? Has anybody experienced puppy's love? Sometimes in the roads you see little puppies, small ones. You walk it will run behind you. 2 steps, 3 steps. You don't pay attention to it, what it will do? What it will do? It will find the next person and start going behind that person till somebody picks it up, and definitely somebody will pick it up. And whoever picks it up, the pup will get attached. The pup will get attached to it. So we go behind persons, we go behind objects, we go behind beings, and somebody will, as you go behind many, somebody will definitely pick you up. If you have done lot of punya, nobody will pick you up. If you have done lot of good karma, nobody will pick you up. If you have done lot of wrong karma, offer will come to you. Get attached to me, get attached to me, get attached to me. Invariably, you will choose one and you will get attached, and that attachment becomes the cause of your destruction. And that attachment becomes the cause of your destruction. And what is attachment? I have spoken about it in 4 stages. Remember the 4 stages? The 4 stages, you remember? You see something, you say, it's nice. If it stops there, there is no appreciate it, and you stop it, there is no problem. It's nice. It's worth making an attempt. It's worth making an attempt. For what? It's nice. It is worth making an attempt. For what? To possess it, to own it. You go behind. Third, you miss it. Third, you miss it. Fourth step is the last step, destructive step. What is the 4th step? The destructive step. I can't live without it. Without it, it's finished. They introduce, no? This is how they introduce. The most important person of my life. The most important person of the life in few months becomes the most. The most important person of the life becomes the Rakshasa of life. And nobody will pause and realize where they are making the mistake. They will genuinely believe that the mistake is with the other person and find another. They're not, Vedanta is not against finding another or being with that. It's not like that. This attachment is that which is causing the mental disturbance. And when the mental disturbance becomes too much, the body also gets disturbed. When the mind gets too disturbed, the body gets disturbed. And then the person will take all the tests, and all the tests will say, blood test, this test, echo, CT, PT, I don't know what all they take. They take everything, and all the test results will say, you are normal, you are normal, you are normal. Maybe something wrong with the machine in that place, sir. Go to another. Not realizing the fact that it is all because of attachment. When you are detached, the same thing becomes enjoyable when you are detached. The example that he gives is the car. The car, if it is your car, if it is your car, that's the example that he's giving. Every time it hits the bump, it hits your heart. Somebody else's car, you say, in the road la kuda nalla pogudupa indha car. Yeah. Even in these bad roads, this car is going. Why? Because it's not. Enjoyment comes when it is not yours. Ignorance says to enjoy, it has to be yours. Knowledge says if you have to enjoy anything, it should not be yours. The moment you claim it as yours, it's gone. Enjoyment, bliss arises when you are able to segregate yourself, when you are able to maintain a distance, a mental distance. When you are able to maintain a mental distance. But we are not able to maintain a mental distance. Either we get attached, involved, or cut and run away. We know only these two. We know only these two extremes. Either get attached and suffer, and out of suffering, end the relationship and run away, and then find out another relationship. The mind works like a pendulum. I have said this law. The mind works like the old clock, the pendulum. What is the pendulum? When the pendulum moves to the right, it's not only moving to the right, it's gathering enough momentum to come to the left. It appears as though it is moving to the right. It's not only moving to the right. As it is moving to the right, it's gathering momentum to come to the left. And when it comes to the left, it is not coming to the left only. Though it appears to be so, the movement to the left itself is the momentum to come to the right. This oscillation tires. This oscillation tires. And the person says, I want freedom from this oscillation. What should I do? And freedom from this oscillation comes when you practice renunciation, detachment, and detachment is stinging. Detachment is stings. Detachment is not easy. We are not saying detachment is easy. He's not saying detachment is easy. Detachment stings. But that sting wakes you up. It stings you, but that sting wakes you up. You wake up from that sting. It relieves you from all worry and anxiety associated with the world. It rises you, it elevates you to a higher plane, he says. It elevates you to a higher plane. What is the higher plane? You are in it and not in it. You are associated with everything, but deep inside you, you are not dependent on any of that which you are associating. That is freedom. Anything you associate out of dependency, please understand, that which you are dependent upon is that which is going to hurt you the most. You develop dependency, you develop attachment to anything, that is going to hurt you the most. It's the law of life. Therefore, he says, associate with everything, but do not develop dependency. And how do you not develop dependency? You have the knowledge, the intellect fortified with the spiritual knowledge, the intellect strengthened by this spiritual knowledge, by Vedantic knowledge, gives you the strength that you can associate with anything and everything, but not, you can associate with anything and everything, but not dependent upon anything. And how would you do that? Recognize the fact of life. By recognizing the fact of life, by recognizing the truth of life, you become strong. Your ignorance, your attachment, and expectations that comes out of attachment will not allow you to accept the truths of life. Your attachments and your expectations will not allow you to experience the truth of life. The reality of life will not be known, will not be accepted. And what is the reality of life? Placing the right value. That is renounced. What is the reality of life? You know the reality of life, you place the right value. You place the right value for all that the world offers. You may be amidst them, you may be enjoying them, and yet you know to place the right value. Attachment is because of the exaggerated value. Attachment is because of ignorance. What is ignorance? Attachment is because of ignorance. What is ignorance? The other alone can make you happy. This is called attachment, ignorance. That person alone, like the boy told me, nobody loves me, sir. I said, what nonsense. Your father is loving, your mother is loving, I am loving. Why do you say nobody is loving? It's not that nobody is loving. Attachment to one makes him believe that. Have you ever observed that attachment means exclusive relationship? The moment you develop this exclusivity to anybody, rest becomes inimical. Rest becomes inimical. Rest becomes a burden. The whole world becomes a burden. The whole world becomes inimical. And the person believes that it is the right thing. Are able to follow? So what is attachment? An exclusive relationship with a person or a object. The exclusivity. And what is exclusivity means? My happiness is through you. And what is sannyas? Sannyas is I give happiness. I am the source. I give happiness to others is sannyas. I beg for happiness, peace, and security is attachment. That's how renunciation makes you the giver. Attachment makes you the opposite of giver is opposite of giver. Don't say taker. Huh? Don't say taker. Opposite of giver is grabber. Receiver. All gives answer like Shankaracharya. Nobody gives the right answer. Opposite of, what is the question? Question type பண்ணுப்பா Vijay. Type the opposite of giver. If you are not a giver, you are a beggar. Attachment makes you a beggar. Attachment makes you a as the opposite of giver. Opposite of giver. Yeah. Giver na you take, no. Please, kudungo, you ask, no. Please. Yeah, love me, give me peace, give me happiness, give me peace. You go from door to door, person to person, begging for please. And somebody gives you the hope that they will give you this, and you will get attached, After a while, they say, Mudilappa, they say, I can't, I'm not able to manage. So what happens? You get frustrated. You feel the other person has cheated you. You feel the other person has duped you. The other person has done something wrong to you. You blame, you fight, and you leave and you go to the next fellow. You can see this in the signals, no? The fellow will ask, Sir, Maharaja, something he will ask, no? Something will ask. Fourth time, you don't give anything, what he will do? நல்லா இருப்பீங்க சார், உங்க குடும்பம் நல்லா இருக்கும். All that he will say. And if you don't give, what he will do? நாசமா போயிடுவீங்க. He will go to the next. That is beggar. That's what the beggar does. He asks, he begs, and when it doesn't happen, he curses and he leaves. Attachment, that's what E. Carpenter says. You don't understand this. Attachment makes you live a beggarly, and a beggar will always feel insecure. Beggar is one who feels insecure. A giver will never feel insecure. A beggar always feels insecure. And the insecure person cannot be happy, peaceful. A person who is feeling insecure, a person who is feeling unsafe cannot be peaceful and happy. So, what is the way? The way is renunciation. The way is renunciation. So, to put it very simply, if you are a beggar, you can't be peaceful and happy. Have you ever seen a peaceful, happy beggar? Is it possible? Who will be peaceful? Who will have the strength? The giver has the strength. The beggar always feels, and attachment makes you a beggar. Attachment makes you a beggar. What is ignorance here? What is ignorance here? The beggar doesn't realize that. The beggar doesn't realize that one is a beggar. That is ignorance. Are you able to follow what is ignorance? The person, a beggar, doesn't know that he or she is a beggar. What are the indications that you are the beggar? When you feel insecure, when you feel agitated, when you feel unhappy, when you feel frustrated, when you feel cheated, all this is an indication that you are attached. And renunciation means detachment. And what does detachment means? Placing the right value. Treating yourself with that much sympathy. Beautifully, E. Carpenter gives the method to practice it. Again, I read the quote and I conclude. You must leave it all behind and vouchsafe the personality and mind that much sympathy as to any stranger, no more, no less. That is the way to practice renunciation. And the person who practices renunciation thus becomes peaceful, blissful. Whatever you do in life, remember the formula. Whatever you do, whatever you avoid doing, both is for happiness. And where does happiness lies? In renunciation. Again, I repeat. Whatever you do, whatever you avoid doing, something you do, something you avoid doing. You say yes to something, you say no to something. Whatever you do, whatever you avoid doing, whatever you accept, whatever you reject, all this is revolving around this one elusive thing that you are looking for called happiness, peace, bliss, security, any word you can use. And where does it lie? And nobody accepts this answer. And when people come to me with their problems, I don't give this answer at all, because what is the point in giving this? Something you have to blabber, time pass, something you say to, something you tell them, and then they also go happily. I don't know what they learn, that they go back happily also. The truth is what? Peace, happiness, bliss, security, all this, contentment, all this comes out of this one quality called renunciation. That is why another word for renunciation is Vedanta. Vedanta and renunciation are two sides to the same coin. To repeat again, no doubt renunciation is painful. No doubt renunciation stings. There is no other way also. No doubt renunciation will be painful. No doubt renunciation stings in the beginning. But there is no other. But there is no other way also. There is no other method also. This is how renunciation gives bliss. Attachment is begging the other, make me happy, make me happy, make me happy. That is attachment. What is detachment? What is detachment? I am happiness. Happiness is my intrinsic nature, not begging the other to make me happy. And how do I beg from the other to make me happy? If the other is smiling, I'm happy. If the other is frowning, I'm unhappy. So the formula is renunciation. Practicing detachment is painful initially, but it is all gainful finally. Again, I repeat, practicing renunciation is painful in the beginning. It is not saying it is going to be easy in the beginning. It is painful in the beginning. And because of the initial pain, people want to leave this and go to the next. People want to leave this and go to the next. This is how renunciation is bliss. With this, we conclude this topic, renunciation is bliss. And then next week, we continue with renunciation heralds meditation. And then we go on to the next chapter, meditation.